if you need to top off something fast, this seems like it should do the trick. Alright, hell yeah! I've always wanted one of these, and we finally made it. It's 20 inches long, it's 4 inches wide, and it weighs 25 ounces. And so, hell yeah, here's some footage. Alright, so these pumps totally suck, but I was able to pick one up for $6. Booyah. And then, so what we have on here is a C7 valve. NRS sells these. And then we just drilled a hole. This is 7/8 outside diameter, and this is the tubing that you would typically use for rafting. And so, and this thing comes just like that, so hell yeah. And then the other modification was we drilled holes, but the real modification's inside. Alright, hell yeah. So you might want to hack one of these, and let's get where you can see. So this thing has two different flaps, and I removed one. That groove right there used to have a gasket. And these aren't O-rings, they're just, you know, they're just neoprene gaskets or rubber gaskets. And so what we did is we came in with our scissors and we chopped that down. It's probably not going to get the best view, but it was sticking out another, you know, let's say 1/4 inch. And so we really just tried to chop that down and reduce that area as much as possible. Just because the downside of these pumps is they're just impossible to pump up and down. They're so hard, you're just pumping friction. It's like the literal worst invention ever, even though it has the best container. This plastic container should be what people go back to, even though K-Pump thought, you know, scheduled 40 is what you want. That's really heavy, you know what I mean? This thing is very lightweight, and you get the biggest chamber. So anyway, so that was the modifications. The other modifications was we just jammed a bunch of rubber inside here, and so we cut 1-inch rubber pieces, and so there's no air can get, so that's an airtight seal, because you do have this you know, 1- and 2-way valves that we just plugged up. So now that is just going to push air through, and then on the return you're going to transfer all that air through here. And so one of the first things in high school was I made pumps for my brother, PVC scheduled 40. We still have a few of them. But I dug this project because I returned to this pump about 3 different times to see what I could do. I removed one of the gaskets, and then I couldn't get any extra juice out of it. And so I just thought, well, let's put it away for you know, on a rainy day. And today was just that day. It was just like, hey, we can do anything. You know what I mean? If this gasket's what's causing the friction, just start cutting the gasket until I don't care if, because I was just ready to throw this pump away. It's such garbage. But now that we reduce the friction, and hell yeah. And this was pretty sweet. There is some plastic ridges in there. We used, let me just show you the tool that we used. You know what I mean? We used one of these tools. And then we have that Forstner 5/8, well 7/8 to drill that hole. The holes in the top, those were 5/8, you know what I mean? And hell yeah, I'm just real satisfied. We'll definitely make some more footage of this once we get to the river. You know what I mean? I mean, if a good tool is one that's just super easy, I'm just going to thread that in and then pump. And so I'm just going to leave these handles until I realize I only need one of them. But yeah, hell yeah. And once I realize I only need one, it'll be a cool little boot. You know what I mean? And boot the other guys out of business. No, I love K-Pump. You know what I mean? Got the K-Pump right here. But this thing, let's see how much this thing weighs. And it's not how much this weighs, it's just, it's 1,000 pumps. That's what the K stands for. And so even though K-Pump started to make 4-inch pumps, I just can't spend, I just don't want to spend, you know, like 150 bucks on something that I need. So hell yeah. So this is 20 ounces. Actually, that's surprising. So that's lighter. Was this 25 ounces? Yeah. So all said and done, my K-Pump is going to be lighter than that. So anyway, so 25 ounces, but man, you get so much extra volume. So this was 25 ounces, this was 20 ounces, plus some gauges. But man, it just seems like this is heavy for the size of it. Well, it's just, you know, like it's all plastic. You just hardly get any diameter. I guess you get an inside diameter of 3 inches. It doesn't feel like that just because the way area works. But no, that's a 2.5 inch inside diameter. And so yeah, area works. You know what I mean? It's I don't know how area works. But I definitely know that's a huge amount of volume. And I think you get it. Alright, booyah. Alright, hell yeah, totally forgot one more thing. This is the secret sauce. So K-Pump, inside there is a piece of white plastic. So K-Pump makes these like connectors that you get with your K-Pump. And so anyway, so this is inside diameter 5/8, I think, because that tubing's outside diameter of 7/8. Unless it's 7/8 minus an 8 minus an 8. Yeah, that's yeah, so I think we do pretty good. But anyway, so what I did is I shoved that into that tubing, and then it expands it. And then I took a dowel and really rammed that in there. So anyway, so this is just rammed in from this side as much as possible, and then just rammed in from the other side. And so I'm sure at some point that's going to give me trouble, but you can't really tell. But yeah, that white thing is depressed in there and pushed in as far as possible. So hell yeah. So still just really satisfied with this build, and hopefully this is a sweet tool. You know what I mean? So alright, hell yeah. Alright, bummer dude. It's not a perfect seal. My bust's not a perfect seal. So that's a real bummer. I can still, you know, get up to pressure. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. Just know that I gotta go fast. So let's do this all the way. But I would just use this to top off, but at least visually it's easier to see this thing inflate. Alright, hell yeah. So it's not bad. I'm gonna try to put white lithium grease in here to see if we can grease that up, you know, and just get a better. I mean, that's not the worst, but all right, hell yeah. All right, hell yeah. So we squished a lot of white lithium grease in there, and hell yeah, we use big kitchen gloves because when you know get in there, you don't want to get all greasy. All right, and I haven't tested this, so you know what I mean. Hell yeah, let's see if it works a little bit better. Hell yeah. I mean, it's not a perfect seal, but we were just trying to make it easiest, you know, to pump. So we'll see if by doing that, it's now harder to get this thing going. Alright, hell yeah. So I'm just glad I only spent $6 on this because I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. Because the other thing that I have about the same size is I just have a really nice PVC hand pump. You know what I mean? And it's about the same size. You get to the ground and you're up here and, you know, you can essentially do this motion, which is probably a little easier. But, you know, I don't know. I was just thinking if you need to top off something fast, this seems like it should do the trick. All right. Hell yeah. Thanks for joining me. Booyah. All right. Hell yeah. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison because this thing has got a great action. You know what I mean? It's got a seal that it's got an O-ring, and it has a full release on the way back. So on the way back, it's effortless. This pump that I made, it already had a lot of friction, but hell yeah. All right, hell yeah, K pumps up. That was 59. How much to top? You only took 5 to top. All right, hell yeah. All right, what was that? 59 and then 5 to top, so 64. All right, booyah. I think that was like 35, so half the pumps. But yeah, so I'm satisfied. This could be a way better. It's still hell of a lot of friction. Feels like there's more friction than you need, that's all. Especially on this way back. You're just kind of pulling that flat back. You just really want an O-ring in there, and then on the way back, the O-ring just folds, just kind of folds in two, and then when you on the down pump, it gets pushed up against a plate, and then it gets kind of wedged out to the outside. But on the return stroke, you know what I mean? And that's where they made the return stroke on this like the hardest. This is a double action pump, and it's not even. It had two gaskets, and I removed the gasket that actually does the upward, draw. This is just the friction of a flap gasket on the way back. It is just absolutely awful. Not bad, but just on the way back, it should be effortless. So if on the way back, if it was effortless, it would be half the effort as well. All right, so that's the comparison. Booyah.